Good morning. My name is Mark de la Cruz, and I would like to say thank you to the Rilda Beilgard Scholarship Foundation for helping me out and joining this course here at SROM. So my journey joining this SROM course was pretty significant. I had some ties through a family member that come to the Rock Laramie Church, and SROM is a part of this Rock Laramie Church, and ideas presented itself throughout time where people would just talk about it and kind of enlighten me more about what it was and talking about an experience that many people really don't get a chance to, and they were hyping it up pretty well, and I was excited to see what that was about. So for me, I kind of asked a little bit more questions, and one thing led to another, and 2 weeks before the actual sign up, I was able to get a scholarship fund through the help of SROM, and made a dream come true. My expectations in this course, they were they weren't so much of an expectation, but it was really of an open mind, because I just wanted to see what was in store for me. But I had no idea about the backpacking experience. I've camped in my lifetime, but this was just once a it was just one of those things where you didn't know what you were getting yourself into. So I feel it was an awesome experience just being able to be a part of this, and by far any expectation that I did have, it exceeded it beyond it. I mean, the views, the hiking and trails, the lakes, and it was an awesome experience. And just having our solo time was just another deal to kind of learn and grow as a person individually. My favorite moments on this course, it was it was a few. If I could just say, one of them was just a tribute to my dad. I felt he was there with me in spirit. Along the way, there were just some moments where I was able to kind of really connect with him and God, and kind of ask certain questions in relation to what is here for me in the future. And something a little bit more different was just being able to see the different lakes we traveled on. That was an awesome experience, and definitely the highlight of the trip was actually making it to 10363, going to Temple Lake, and climbing Temple Peak. We actually did a polar plunge there at the Temple Lake, and that was the coldest that's ever been. It was a new version of an ice bucket challenge. It's just awesome that words couldn't even explain it. A skill that I learned on the course was to be still and listen to God. That was one thing that I took away from it, and the emphasis on just jotting down of writing to God, writing a message to God or to a loved one, and then seeing what God had an answer for you in that way was, and they call it a manual journaling. And it was a lot of challenging questions, as far as just to get your mental right, as far as reading a scripture and then trying to decipher of what it meant to you as an individual person, and just a lot of just learning maps in general. That was just awesome, and learning how to hike in a professional way, and just knowing that if you have the right gear, that you'll be good and you have nothing to worry about. The community and culture, that for me and within itself was just an imaginable experience. The community, to start with, it everybody was so open-minded, so friendly, giggly, laughing. But when it came down to really hearing the word of God or the message of God, everybody really had kind of joined as one, and it kind of made it easier to kind of buy into what was going on, and it didn't feel forced. It was something that was real genuine, and I think being around a community like that is always helpful for people who are either looking to go somewhere in their life or even just get closer to God. I think that's a good tool to have, is people with like minds. And the culture within itself of SROM, I think it's an awesome opportunity for those who haven't had a chance to join. To me, it's an experience where they really do go above and beyond to really care for the person and the individual. They really listen to you. They don't really just single out a person. So I think the culture behind this and in the wilderness is just an awesome experience within itself. For me, growing as a leader, I feel was awesome. It was a way, like I said, the deal was I had never dealt with a map before, and learning coordinates and elevation lines and declines was awesome. So that within itself was just to kind of put your mind frame and just be like, you know what, we have point A to point B to get to a certain area. And that right there just kind of helped in a small pitch to just grow as a leader, to just kind of take ownership and be in a place that you have never gone before and not know nothing about this national forest was just awesome. And if there was help to be needed along the way, they were there to facilitate that for us, and it was awesome. But for the most part, they gave us the room we needed and didn't let us feel that we were less than what we are. And they, the leaders, Jesse and Joy, were just awesome that time, and just individually, just was able to grow as a person. You know, I think I could have more confidence in myself, going down the line, um, to be more optimistic in certain ways. It's a way to just think of the backcountry as a different deal, and then coming to the front country, you realize a lot of how fortunate you are. So this right there could kind of take some tools that you learned along the way and apply it to your daily life. I grew in the way of Christ a little bit more, was being able to kind of hear his voice more. I felt in the past that it was a little bit difficult. It's just like a phone call that you get that's a busy line, and for me, it kind of, I'm kind of deciphering that in a way. Is just instead of just me talking, it's more about listening and kind of trying to understand that, and just be intentional with God and his word. So for me, I feel that was a big milestone for me. And I mean, to others it's a small thing, but for God it's a bigger deal. The most impactful thing for me on this course was just sharing the joy with others, and just being able to be yourself and not really have to worry about, is just, it wasn't egotistical at all. Everybody was just there to have a good time. And obviously just those moments where we talk about like just hiking, I think overcoming adversity with each other was the best thing for me, because it taught everybody how to work together and just become one. Like, we were all leaning on each other at a certain point, and the emphasis of being together was definitely important for us. I mean, from rock climbing to actually hiking on trails and hiking off the trails, and I mean, the singing, the laughing, the dancing was just like, it was very impactful in a way that you just wish you could do it a lot more. Like, if you had 10 extra days, it was just an awesome experience. So many surprises that were just very worth it at the end. And for me, I would definitely recommend this course to somebody else. It's a once in a lifetime thing that if you really haven't had the chance to, it would be really good. I mean, from a family to friend, or just if you're searching online to find a course to join, as far as rock climbing with a group of people, SROM would be a good way to go. It's awesome. They really care for their people, and they give you the best experience that they can, and they equip you with the equipment that you need. And if you don't have it, they'll supply it. They really go above and beyond, and they take the time to really explain to you how to rock climb and how to read maps, and doing it the right way, how to cross a certain river. It's not just kind of going up and over. And it's an awesome experience that I would recommend to anyone who is looking to get closer to God. So in my daily life, how I plan to intricate this skill set that I did learn over the course was not just being in the wilderness and kind of just being around everybody. It was just more of learning how to touch God's heart through a different view. And sometimes you're in the front country and it's a lot of noise and so many distractions, and and technology has a way of just getting to everybody. So for me, it's about the listening part and being intentional. So I think with that being said, is just probably reading the word in a more of a elaborate way, and just kind of getting closer to him and just seeing what he has for me. Like I said, being more intentional is it for me. So for me, this was just very impactful. I think it was more sentimental, and it's one of those things that you can't get back unless you really sign up to get back on this course. And I mean, for my father, I know he would love to see this, and for me, it was very emotional along the way. So a lot of what I did for this trip was not just for the glory of God, but also to honor my father, who is an awesome man. And for me, it just allowed me to really be closer in all forms.